Hello, welcome back, Box1 here, and today we will be looking at this. This is a LEGO Writing Systems pen, the Minifigure Faces pen from 2001. Now, LEGO pens were around from, I believe, 1999 up until either 2001 or 2002, and there were some pretty cool ones, and I think this is actually one of the cooler ones. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, we should first look at the box, which is quite hard to find, especially in good condition, but the box here basically just says the features of the pen, 18 cool head elements to basically, you can take them off and place them back on in any order you'd like, and it's very cool. It is a twist pen, which we'll get to later, and it is pretty cool. I forget what it would have originally retailed for, not that much at all, but it's pretty cool. And opening it up, we can dump it out, and in here is a very nice plastic case, and it has a very nice little bottom as well as coming with an instructions, or not instruction manual, but just a it tells you what the pen can do, and just some other stuff like that. The actual pen itself is pretty cool. It has, as I said, 18 little elements that you can put on in any order you'd like, and I'll show you how to do that right now. And to prepare it for taking these off, you can actually just unscrew this bottom part, which is a very small screw. It just inserts in there, and it can easily be put back on. And this is the actual pen part. This is the only part you actually need if you want to use it, which is kind of cool, given that it's less than half the size, or about half the size. Yeah, still less than half the size of the entire thing. But these easily just slide off. You can take them off, and you can reposition them however you'd like. And now that we've taken everything off, we can get a good look at everything that comes in the set properly. And we'll look at the accessories first, which is these one tall pieces here, which are pretty cool. They just slot on the pen. This red hat, there is, this comes in both, or all the colors. The hats come in 3 of the colors besides green. And then this piece only comes in red, which is a double tall version of this. Pretty cool. Now, you do get this back part, which is what everything slides onto. It's simply a metal rod, and it's quite simple there. You get the pen, of course, and I'll show you how that works in a second, but you get all these cool classic faces. No classic smiley face, but some really cool ones. You get the wizard, I forget his name now, but the wizard, you get some pretty cool people from, which were in Coca-Cola and Studios sets. I know this one wasn't a Studios one. At least there's some pretty cool ones, like this guy, who I believe is from Time Twisters. Could be wrong, but this guy who is adventurers. I don't remember all the old themes. I don't have all of them, but pretty cool heads. Now we can get into the actual pen, which is right here. I'm not even going to pause. It's a simple twist pen. You just twist it in this direction, and the tip comes out. Very cool. Now, it has a nice rubber purple little grip here, and the actual thing you can take this off. It is extremely hard, but that's how you would replace the ink. Mine is completely out of ink, unfortunately. When I got it, it was like that, and it takes I believe you can easily find it online what it takes. It's something like 4C or C4, something like that, ink cartridges. But yeah, I gotta someday get a replacement for this, and I'll definitely do a short once I do. But yeah, let's mix and match this stuff, and I'll show you a combination that you could do. And I thought, what better combination to do than what's on the side of the box? Pretty cool. I quite like this set. It's very nice. I'm going to show you another combination before we finish off this video. And this is the combination I chose. Pretty simple. This black mark, we'll get to that in a second, why that's a problem. But the actual thing is a very cool. So, without further ado, let's get into my opinion. And first, I will give my good opinions on this set, and then I will give you my bad opinions, things that I don't quite like. Now, there are a lot more good than bad, and one of those good things is that it comes in this case, and I really like that. It also comes with the little handle there, which I didn't talk about much, but you can clip that onto your shirt. You can put Lego pieces onto those 2 studs, so that's pretty cool. The heads can't go on studs, unfortunately, or not. They can go on studs, but they cannot go on a minifigure head, unfortunately. So that's not cool. I wish they could go on minifigure heads, although they would have to be heavily modified Lego heads if they wanted to have the normal head mold there. The one cool thing, another cool thing, I'll say, is that I quite like just everything in terms of the choice of faces. Having all these different faces is very cool, as well as these accessories like the hat, these little pieces. They probably didn't need to be included. They could have just included heads, but I think adding like a hat or one of these is quite cool. There we go. That's English. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. Now for the things I don't quite like about it. The main thing is the ink cartridges are extremely hard to replace. And I said that earlier, they're really hard to replace. You have to really pry the red thing over there off to actually get to it. So that's not cool. The second thing, and maybe there's two more things, is that the black on this can sometimes rub off onto the pieces, which is kind of unfortunate. So you'll get like a black mark on them. They can easily be taken off, but it's just annoying that sometimes does that. Over time, of course, it does take a little while to do that, but it does. The final thing I don't quite like is that this insert into the case makes it hard to customize it somewhat. Because if you want to fit the pieces back into here, you can only have 4 heads. You have to have 2 of these accessories here, so you can only have 2 on the thing, and then you can only have a certain amount of these little rings as well. Because if you don't, your pieces won't fit into the case. And that's kind of unfortunate. I don't know how they would have worked around that. Maybe just had slots for all the pieces, but that would have made the cases bulkier. I don't know. It's a dilemma. But otherwise, I think it's a really cool thing. And yeah, that's my opinion. I think it's really cool. It does have some flaws, of course. Early 2000s Lego always has some flaws. But I quite like it. Originally, I got it. It was going to be $10.50 where I got it. And I was thinking, okay, that's pretty cool to have the box and all that for $10.50. It was half off, so $5.25. And I definitely think that's a good deal for this pen. Being so old, 2001 isn't so old. I shouldn't say so old. That's only 24 years, nearly 26, or 25. But yeah, for having a complete set, or whatever you'd call this, from that time, I just think that's neat. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.